What's up, Fabrication Nation? It's Friday, fool! I am kylevoss, and every week on Friday, I bring you a tool that I either use here in this shop or has been featured on this channel. Not just any ordinary tool, a specialty tool, a fabrication tool. This week's tool, well, let me give you a little lead up. If you didn't watch last week's episode, I did the digital protractor. Now this protractor is amazing for working with tubes, tube notching, tube bending, anything with a tube in a car or a bike. This is a great tool. You can actually go watch this video right here. Now in that video, I used a tube notcher. So this week's tool is the tube notcher. Had a lot of you guys asking about it, and it's actually a really good tool to have, so I figured I'd feature it this week. Kind of do them back to back. You know what I'm saying. Now there's a couple things I want to tell you about tube notchers, and I don't say this very often, but with a tube notcher, you really want to spend a little bit extra money and buy the best one you can. There's a couple reasons for that. If you don't buy the best one you can, you're really gonna fight the whole process. You're not gonna have good clean cuts, you're not gonna have good clean angles, you're not gonna have good clean welds. So it really starts at the tube notcher. You want a really good tube notcher. Now there are tube notchers out there from one end of the spectrum all the way to the other. You got the cheapest of cheap, and you got the most high dollar fancy that you can find. And the way that you know that it's on the higher end of the scale is because the materials are usually thicker that it's made of. Maybe the frame and the base is a little bit thicker. The bearing support is a lot thicker. The actual shaft that holds the cutter is gonna be a lot thicker. All of those things play into accuracy. So enough talking about it, let me show you mine. Now, a little disclaimer. Mine was not a bought tube notcher. Mine was homemade, but it was modeled after some of the really high-end tube notchers that are out there. All right, guys. This is my tube notcher, and like I said, this is a homemade unit, but it was modeled after some of the higher end tube notchers that are out there. So a couple things you want to look for are a very robust and secure mounting portion of the cutter. You don't want the tube moving around, you don't want it sliding in and out, you don't want any issues with that, so you want this to mount very well. One other thing you want to look for is a very good shaft and bearing system. So usually the thicker the shaft, and the thicker this base is that houses the bearings, the better the tool is. This is going to keep this shaft nice and straight, keep it from wobbling around as you're cutting. And last but not least is the actual base that everything mounts to. You want a very thick and robust base. Some of these are really thin sheet metal. You don't want it flexing and moving and vibrating. You want this thing to be very sturdy. Really, that's all you're looking for. I actually have this thing mounted in my drill press right now, mainly because I don't have a drill that has a large enough chuck, but it works really well. You can mount this thing to the base on the drill press and then just chuck it up. Everything's secure, you can cut tube. Let's cut something. There you go. Easy and accurate notching. Now this is the exact same tube that we measured last week when we used the protractor. So if everything works like I say it does, it should be the exact same angle as this bar here. And you can see that it's got a nice clean edge. I hadn't even cleaned it up yet. That's right out of the drill press. I just wipe the oil off. Usually I just go in here and take a flap wheel or something and kind of clean the edges up. Anyway, let's try it out. Looks the same to me. Nice clean fit, easy to weld, no gaps to fill. It's the trick. You just gotta make sure you have really good equipment when it comes to tube notching. Alright guys, that's it for this week. Thank you for joining me as always. I will put links in the description of a wide variety of tube notchers. Go check them out. Like I said, I would try to get as high on the scale as you can as far as quality. It really matters when it comes to a tube notcher. It's Friday, fool! I've got a little announcement. I've had a ton of you guys asking about hats, all right? And they're coming. This is the thing though, I'm only gonna drop them in very limited quantities. We've got snapbacks and fitted hats, very limited quantities. You're gonna get Mr. D's and the Fab Forms hats. They're gonna be listed. They're gonna be on the KyleFab site, kylefab.com, and they're gonna drop at 8 o'clock Eastern time on Sunday. I will probably bring them back periodically, but who knows? May not be in the same colors. May mix up the colors a little bit. So if you want one of these, there's your chance. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, kylefab.com.